Warning. This movie has a 100% chance of rotting your brains. Return of the Living Dead coming up next.
Okay, hang on. We're going to have to restart that.
Oh, was it good, though?
We'll talk about it. Just...
Oh, great. Okay. Now I have to do it again, and I have a lecture coming. After
Take
we're
two.
done
Take two.
Well,
right, hang on.
I just need to reopen the sound bar. The sound drop thing is not working. Maybe you don't have to do it again. Just I haven't even stopped recording. I could just cut all this out.
I could do it again anyway if you want me to. You sure you don't want to keep it fluid?
No, we can keep it. No, because if I just hit the button, I can just cut all of this out.
Fair.
Right.
Brains.
Okay. Okay, so the support working. Okay, I'll just have to manually. Oh, here we go. Ready? 3,
I'm ready.
2,
Am I saying
1.
it again?
Yeah, go again. Go again. Let's see if you can do it better. 3,
Okay, cool.
2, 1, go.
Warning, this movie has a 100% chance of rotting your brains. Return of the Living Dead coming on up.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevene. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time, and today that is myself, and I believe our guest upstairs, Steve, who you just heard, giving our intro. First
Real
time
exciting
intro.
Stuff. First time intro, long time guest. How you doing, everybody?
First time caller, last time intro. You know, it's one of those things. I mean, listen, he did his best. He did his best, okay?
We give an A for effort, you get a special star, you get a brain star. So.
You get a brain star on the fridge, okay?
A gold star in the cerebellum for me. Thank you very much.
Maybe on the foot. I don't know.
Maybe on
the
possibly.
Foot, you know, listen, I always got to keep you guys on your toes. You know what I mean?
Always got to keep us on toes. No. It was a good intro. It was a good intro. You didn't force a podcast pun, which was
can I just say, before actually doing the intro, I did make a promise to Timmy that it would be just as good, if not better, than any intro Tommy has done while I've been a guest. Can you give me at least that?
I think so. I would say the only ones that are better are the ones that I put work into, like the
ones that I put effort into.
No, I like mixed like the Top Gun theme with a bunch of Tom Cruise quotes into it when we did Top Gun, and it's got like, you know, him like doing his like freak out on Oprah on the couch, him yelling on the Mission Impossible set. Like I got all those in there, so I like that. You know, like that's what I think is the best intro we've ever done. But that was good. It was good. It was good.
The 30 seconds of thought. Pretty good, right?
Pretty good. I still get to name your firstborn son, but other than that, it's good.
Fair enough.
Fair enough exchange. I'm sure it'll hold up in court.
I made my first child not be a masculine child for that reason alone.
I said firstborn son. I didn't say firstborn child.
Yeah.
I want your son specifically.
I want your son specifically.
I just like boys, okay?
Whoa, you Brian Peck?
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Speaking of, we'll get into that because this is the Return of the Living Dead, a 4th of July movie, which is a great way to kick off our Halloween. And also one of Tommy's favorite movies.
Oh, legit. Like I've seen this probably like 7 times or 8 times in the last like 3 years. I watch this every like 3rd of July because that's when the movie takes place, 3rd of July specifically. So
I'm still actually.
This is such
I'm,
a horror. This is such a horror nerd. Like this is the greatest movie ever made. Horror
yeah.
Tell
nerd
me it's
pick.
not Tommy Core. This movie is just Tommy Core.
It's just
Well,
it is.
basically, the genesis of us covering this movie was last week. Steve was like texting me when I was at work, being like, "Yeah, like what's a good horror movie to watch?" I was like, "Okay, what do I know about Upstairs Steve? He loves punk rock." So I was like, "Here, this movie has songs by the Cramps and the Damned in it. It's punk rockers versus zombies. You're gonna have a blast." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, this movie rocks."
Say less. You had me at punk rockers and zombies. Like this
Yeah.
is great. And
I
throughout
thought
the movie, I'm just texting him. I'm like, man, this is fucking Tommy Core all the way. And I'm like, guarantee you, Timmy has never seen this movie. And in the back of my head, I'm like, we're going to present the idea to Timmy, and he's going to shoot it down. This is just like one of those things where, like,
what did we have lined up? We had something else lined up, and
we were gonna cover like Barbarian or something.
Yeah, no, I was like, which I wasn't already. Even though I liked Weapons, I still wasn't like. That's the month of October for me. It's a little bit of pulling teeth to watch some of these movies, and Zach then it was like Barbarian or Return of the Living Dead, and then I looked at the runtimes and I was like, Return of the Living Dead sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice quick hour and a half watch. It's a fun watch. I definitely had a good time with it. My dad's actually heard of it, surprisingly. I was texting him. He's in the middle of watching. He's like, "What are you doing, stupid?" And I'm like, "I'm doing something incredibly stupid. I'm watching Return of the Living Dead." He's like, "Oh, great movie. The original?" Yeah. I'm like, "Of course the original."
Yeah.
So was it a great movie?
Oh, no. This is a
it's
fun
iconic.
Time.
It's iconic for a lot of reasons, and we'll get into that when we start talking about it.
Is it iconic?
It's iconic.
I'm going to broach these questions, and maybe we broach the definitions of these words, like iconic, because iconic at the Connecticut Horror Festival and then generally broad iconic are two different things. You know what I mean? Like
that is true. Because last month I did meet like the majority of this cast at the horror fest I worked at. Basically, all the punk rockers are still alive, minus Brian Peck for obvious reasons.
Well, he's still alive. He's still alive.
He's still alive, but he's not welcome at conventions. We'll get into that later. But and
so
also the guy
played Tarman. Your virginity, Tommy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. But no, like the cast in general is just so much fun. They still like Miguel Nunes, the guy who played Spider, the black guy. He was like fucking amazing. He's still just like motor mouth and everything like that. He's hilarious, even in person. So, but this movie, like for horror fans, just has so much like esteem held for it, especially like the fact that this is the movie that coined like the term of zombies being obsessed with brains, and like the whole entire time throughout the movie we're like brains, that's what you think of when you think of zombies. That started with this movie.
Interesting. Okay, that actually is generally iconic. Broadly, that is iconic.
Thank you. Case proven.
Yeah, there.
Drops microphone. I'm leaving.
Case closed. Podcast over.
But is it iconic in the fact that I had to find that out from you? Versus, like, it's influential but not iconic.
I mean,
I think that like for a certain type of like 80s horror fan, this is very iconic. I mean, even on IMDb, this is like pretty high up in the popularity. I mean, this is like above like 2000 right now, which granted,
I'll say this: these are definitely the most intelligent zombies I've ever seen in cinema.
They can talk.
Exactly.
Like, they're sentient. That's the thing, and they understand that they are addicted to brains. They are very self-aware for being the living dead. You know,
I just think I don't like zombies. Like just Left 4 Dead, Walking Dead. Like name your zombie franchise. I have no interest in it.
Dawn of the Dead.
I liked. I mean, it was fun.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, but I don't like zombies. Do nothing for me. They come out of the ground. I don't. Like, they're cool in the fact of, like, makeup and design, but I don't necessarily think that, like, they don't scare me. Two, I like, all you can do is kill them. So
except for these ones. These
Yeah,
ones are impossible to kill.
these ones are
This,
particularly tough
it's
to
what's
kill.
crazy about this movie that's a horror comedy, but in a way it's also bleak as fuck because it's just like there's no way out for our characters. Like our characters are just like fucked from the beginning. Like there's no self-defense
Yeah.
practically. Like you're just gonna be dead immediately. It is interesting because I watched Dawn of the Dead over the weekend too, and going from that like the Romero slow zombies that like are unintelligent, can't even speak, and going to this where like they're pretty much like calling in cops to come in over and over again, like send more paramedics over and over again. It's just fucking hilarious. And this movie has like a great
That-
like dark sense of humor to it throughout.
yeah, they knew what
Yeah,
they were doing.
I suppose we'll talk about it in further discussion. But gentlemen, why don't we name a movie we watched recently? Can we give me something? Give me anything. Steve, why
Wow.
don't you start with us? Start with you.
I'll start us off. I watched a movie yesterday called Dinner Rush, and it's a not so known movie from the late '90s. But if you guys watched the Netflix miniseries Black Rabbit, it literally just took the entire textbook from this movie. It's basically about a restaurant owner in Tribeca, New York, and you know the former head chef is kind of in deep with money with the mob and starts kind of muscling the owner. And the entire movie takes place at one night in this restaurant. And you see a lot of moving parts throughout that one night. You kind of follow the head chef, who is the owner's son. You follow the former head chef, who's in deep with the mob. You follow the mob guys. You follow that there's like an undercover cop that's like having dinner with his wife, but is also kind of looking at the moving parts. And it's another quick watch. It's about an hour and a half. Um, blind, on, who,
Okay, okay, we definitely lost connection with upstairs Steve here.
of Saul, like, from Breaking Bad. He has a very good movie. It was from 2000. Danny, if you're not, then you're probably not from an Italian American family. So, yeah, good
Okay,
movie.
good conversation there. We missed all of it. Tommy.
Yeah, broke up a little bit right there.
All
Oh
right.
no, really?
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
going
it's
on
all
a
good.
rant. I could tell it might have been your best rant ever, but
Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys missed it. We missed it too. But yeah, you can tell me a Danielle is a movie about New York City. It's shocker. So
You need me to redo it?
no,
no.
we got her fixed. So I'll go into mine. I went to the theaters to go see for the second time in theaters Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors. This is the third Freddy Krueger movie. And it's just like the most fun 80s horror movie like ever, where like they take the concept of Freddy
More
Krueger
fun
and
than
like
this
bring
one?
it's up there. It's up there. It's pretty neck and
Nah.
neck for me. But it takes the concept of Freddy Krueger and maximizes it, where like Freddy will kill people, where like one character's a drug addict, so he'll like make his claws into like heroin needles and like inject it into the person. One person's obsessed with puppets, so he turns the person into a puppet and like it takes their tendons and stuff like that. And just it's a song, it's a movie of a Dawkins theme song, like the Dawkins 80s hair metal band. So it's just such a blast in theaters. It's so much fun because it has like Freddy Krueger at his like right before he teetered over the edge of being a parody of himself, where like he still was a little funny, but still had a menace to him. It was fantastic. So it's everything I needed out of a Freddy Krueger movie. I can watch the
Can
movie
you
all
say
day.
that again, but
So
nerdier?
right on the prime hand.
Well,
There
he
you
went
go.
and did it. There you
So,
go. How
Tommy,
about you, Timmy?
Tommy's going to be very proud of me, and he's also going to already know. He already knows what I'm about to say. But
Yeah.
Tommy is about to be very, very proud of me. But you're going to pretend. You're going to act. You
Yeah.
watch enough actors, you should be able to do it. Okay, at
Put on
least
your acting pants.
put
Come
on
on,
your
Tommy.
acting
You got
cap
this.
now. I just need you to act a little bit for me here and pretend like I
Yeah.
didn't tell you this. But I watched Friday the 13th Part 2. And the
Get the
only
fuck out of
reason
here.
and the only reason I picked Part 2 is because on Paramount they had Part 2 through 10. And then the original was locked behind the Showtime lock. And I could go into a diatribe about streaming services and how they are just the worst thing that's happened to planet Earth. But I will not, because you've all heard it enough.
That's another discussion for another day.
That's another
Yeah.
discussion for another day.
That's a
But
whole other pod.
it was a fun little slasher. Everybody being as like I feel like I've seen enough tropes of Friday the 13th throughout like my life to like piece together these movies. You know what I mean? Where it's just like a bunch of
Like, you know what you're getting into.
I
It's
know what
like,
I'm getting into. It's just a bunch of dumb high schoolers like that are horny in the woods, and then somebody comes to kill them.
yeah.
Well, you see,
So
that's the
what,
thing. Like,
this is
for
your
a movie, for a movie like that, that's so iconic. You've seen it parodied a million times without realizing it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely did. I mean, there were some cool, like, there are definitely some cool kills in there. It's just something about the genre that just like I wish it did something for me, but it doesn't. But I'm gonna continue watching horror movies. You know,
Yeah. So what would you think? Like first, like try ever Friday 13th because you've never seen any of the movies before, right?
yeah.
Which is
It was
wild that we've been friends for like 25 years, and I've never been like, hey, we're getting drunk and watching a Friday the 13th movie.
because you knew how that was gonna go. Because like we'd also hang out at our friend's basement. Who, if I'm
Hates
anti-horror,
horror.
if I'm like anti-horror, he is like this is the spawn of Satan, son, and we should never watch this ever.
Yeah.
No one should ever watch it,
I
even though
mean, look,
he's not puritanical at all. But I just like that is his mo. And yeah, we just never watched it. Like we did a lot of movie roulette. You knew that no you knew that was getting vetoed
I never,
immediately.
I never picked
You
that.
knew. It was like me throwing Mulholland Drive in there, where it was just like, bro, come on, what are we doing? This isn't getting through, dude.
It's like know your
No.
audience.
Master and Commander, Mulholland Drive, and Friday the 13th. And you pick your Friday the 13th. None of them were getting through.
Yeah, none was getting through. You had to know your audience. I was always good at picking the movie because I think I won a lot. I knew my
yeah,
crowd.
yeah. He didn't know how to read the room, but he knew his crowd.
That's true. You don't read the
I
room
couldn't
well, but
read, but
you couldn't read. True. True. I do have to send all of my messages to Tommy as voice notes. But
it's real
God,
complicated
yeah.
doing a movie podcast. But we don't do a book podcast for a reason.
When I'm not teaching you how to play guitar, I'll teach you how to read. I'll put my degree to good use.
the
Yeah.
Hey, Junior.
But no, the Friday 13th movies for me are just movies that like are the perfect drinking game movies because basically there's a set of rules for all the movies where like you do it for every movie. It's every death, every time someone like gets naked, and every time you hear the ha 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 over and over again, and then you just drink and you get drunk and you have like 6 drinks and you're like, this is fantastic. This is what I need in a movie right now. They're not, I wouldn't call them great movies, but they're fun.
Well, it definitely sounds like alcohol helps.
they're fun. They're low budget. They do the job. They do the job. That is their
If that's what you're
strength
looking for,
sure.
that is. I mean, Tommy's going to freak out because I don't think I've ever seen a Friday the 13th movie in its entirety.
Wow.
I just no desire to because I know what I'm getting into and I've seen enough of them in like, you know, like
I think you watched a bit of one with me once.
Oh, I definitely have. And like,
Yeah.
you know, I've always caught them when they're on TV and I'm like, I know what I'm getting myself into. I just
They're
don't know
like-
if I want to commit to all 20 of these because I know when I start watching one, I'm going to be like, well, I got to watch 2. And then next thing you know, I've watched 20 and October's over. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Which one is
Jesus
Crispin Glover in?
That's the 4th one.
Okay, we
Crispin
can
Glover's in
Let's cover that one at some point.
Yeah, we'll cover that one at some point. But it's one thing that like it makes me miss cable when like AMC did their Fear Fest every year. I think they still do it, but like I miss like the experience of like flipping through the channels and be like, oh shit, there's about to be a kill on like Friday the 13th Part 3. Let me just
And
go
of course
check
you
this
and of
kill.
course you would just know when the kill is coming because you just know the timestamps
Yeah.
of these movies, even with the commercials baked in.
Yeah. I'd be like, okay, like great, like I'll get this kill and then I'll switch the channel to something else real quick. It's
He'll
the
get his
ultimate like
fix.
there's something missing with you know when you're not flipping through channels anymore. When you're just doing streaming, like I know what I'm gonna watch.
Yeah. There was a magic to flipping the channals.
There
And there was a
definitely
magic to flipping the channels, and we are like maybe the last generation that will truly know this without having like a TV guide or just like you go on the channel 2 or whatever the default one was, and then you'd like go hit guide button like when the cable boxes came out and
Right.
digital, like when it was just like they'd have like big green numbers on the top of the TV that just indicated what channel you were on. You had no clue and you're just flipping through. Like there was a magic to that when you just actually stumbled onto something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Couldn't
But
agree more.
we don't have that anymore. But
No.
we're gonna cover The Return of the Living Dead.
They were resting in peace until they were rudely interrupted.
What do you want to do, Scuzz? Sit on a gravestone?
I just want to party.
This place is a mess.
Now look who's awake.
They're on the way.
They're back from the grave and ready to party.
I think things are getting out of hand.
The Return of the Living Dead. Rated R.
Okay, The Return of the Living Dead is a 1985 American comedy horror film written and directed by Dan O'Bannon. Story by Rudy Ricci, John Russo, and Russell Streiner, starring Clu Glugauer, James Karen, Tom Matthews, and Don Calfa. The film tells the story of how a warehouse owner, accompanied by his two employees, mortician friend, and group of teenage punk, deal with the accidental release of a horde of unkillable, brain-hungry zombies onto an unsuspecting town, which is Louisville, Kentucky, which, by the way, they drop where they're actually located, like, in the final minute of the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
and it
it's
was
in the
very
beginning.
unsuspecting to me, though, because none of
Oh,
them
is it in that?
are
Is it in that opening title drop?
Yeah, the opening title drop when they say like the year and they say like Kentucky, but like first of all, what's the punk scene like in Louisville, Kentucky in the fucking 80s? Like,
I didn't
was
think
that a
they
thing?
had one.
I don't
No.
think they had one either. That's what's hilarious. So
it was like a fucking hootenanny with fucking mohawks.
I bet every place had a punk scene. You just, you know,
Yeah.
some places were stronger than the other. Yeah, so can one of you tell me what is it about the punk rock movement in and of itself that they love to spray paint their cars?
I think it's just anti-establishment at the end of the day, and just
Yeah.
graffiti,
It's a way-
just vandalism. It's a very quick and easy
But it's
way to
it's
commit
self-vandalism. But it's self-vandalism, like it's your property.
Well, it's
Well-
a way of like expressing yourself and anything like that. Or like, I think the modern equivalent now is like so many people I know that are punk rockers or like love punk, like have like a million different band bumper stickers on the back of their car, shit like that.
Yeah.
So
Or
there's
like
that
the
too.
million different band patches that are on their fucking coats and like
Yeah.
That's
They-
a Tommy
they-
move. But he does it
Yeah.
with horror movies.
Yes, indeed. It's more of the fact that like I'm gonna destroy this thing because I know it's gonna piss people off around me that look at me, sort of thing.
Yeah,
like
It's a
driving
way
that
to just-
convertible in the suburbs is gonna bother all their fucking moms. It's like, oh, this is killing my mom, but punk rock, yeah, man.
It's a totally way just to piss off people. Totally. So this is a movie for me. We're just talking about like, catching movies in like AMC Fear Fest. I remember I caught this at like IFC when I was at my grandparents' house at like midnight one time in like seventh grade. I was like, what the fuck is this movie? Return of the Living Dead. I was like immediately hooked. And for some reason, like when you watch a movie like that, and not knowing where it's going, it was almost scary at the ending. Where like it just ends and just everyone dies and just like a nuke happens and they all get nuked to death. Whereas,
Well,
like, oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I had a feeling that that's like kind of the road it was going to go down because it's just like, all right, well, these zombies are not your traditional zombies; they're not killable, and so what's the logical next step? The government's going to have to find out eventually, and
Well, I knew the government was going to step in because there's just like that random scene, like 15 minutes in San Diego with the colonel or whoever, and he's just like, I have to be on call, honey.
Who hates
Yeah,
his wife?
that's
He's
true.
like, you fucking bitch.
Top-
You know
top-
that I have to
top
answer
10,
this.
top 10, a guy who hates his wife of all time. Like
You go to sleep, woman, or I'll put you back to sleep. God damn it!
You know
And
that
you-
I'm on call 24/7 and they need to answer this. And like, she's like, well, I just wanted to have like this meal. I made this meal for you. I had that for lunch.
Woman,
It's like-
shut your mouth, or the last meal you'll be having is a knuckle sandwich. I'll tell you
I just love that little cut to it, or just like just the venom that guy has for his wife. Or it's like she's fucking asking me a question again about this. What's ruining my oven? Well, it's like I need to fucking have this.
Well, it's funny because like we covered Poltergeist last week, and like an issue I had with Poltergeist was with Craig T. Nelson's job, and like it just randomly cuts to the boss like an hour, 10 minutes into the movie. Like whereas like if you want to introduce like a third character, like a minor character, but you want the audience to be aware of them like existing, you do that at like the 15-minute mark, and then you cut back to the main action, and it's just like back of your mind go, well, all right, when's so the military is going to be involved in this, and then
Yeah.
you go, when is it? When is the military going to be involved in this? And not
It's
don't do it at the hour 10 mark of your movie.
Yeah, it's a little needle drop.
But you also knew it was kind of coming because the whole valve that was delivered to that main warehouse came from the government. And that was the whole thing. It's like, hey, man, you want to see it? And and that's another thing about this movie that, really just drives the whole comedy to it. It's so slapstick. It's so like, don't worry about anything. These tanks are indestructible. They came from the government. Slap. And then that one slap caused an entire global pandemic.
Yeah, literally, like immediately, like the fucking gas comes out. So, Tim, speaking of Poltergeist, which we covered last week, there's another actor that was also in this movie. Do you know which actor?
No,
you just referenced him, the boss
Craig?
from Poltergeist.
Oh, is he?
That's the guy who like slaps the fucking tank and then like.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah, that's that guy. He's a character actor, James Karen. He was in Mulholland Drive too, as like one of the people that was for the audition for Naomi Watts. But he's just a great character actor. I think that like they're talking about the special features of this movie that like this guy really got the tone of this movie because he's just like over the top in the right way possible. Where like
he was so over the top. It was one like I really enjoyed the first 15 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, because the way also he tells the story where it's just like. They just moved around some of the details. They just, covered it up. They told the guy, like, yeah, maybe you don't say it all the right way. It's just so captivating and just a fun way. Where it's like, oh shit, what's that? What is he talking about?
Yeah, no, he was always sketchy from the get-go. But let me ask you guys this question: if I'm alone here, did you guys think that this was a sequel to Night of the Living Dead at first?
Well. I think when I first saw this, I didn't even like see Night of the Living Dead at that point, or like I didn't even cross my mind.
I think that like having like not seen Night of the Living Dead, I obviously just kind of drew a connection. Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead. If I were making a sequel to it, like
there's in a weird way, this is almost kind of somewhat of a sequel to Night of the Living Dead because. There's George A. Romero, who made Night of the Living Dead, and then he went off and made Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. And basically, the rights were split between George A. Romero and this other guy, John Russo, who wrote this movie, Return of the Living Dead. And John Russo got the rights of the Living Dead part, and then George A. Romero just had of the Dead.
Dead.
So John Russo and then Russell Steiner, who's also involved in Night of the Living Dead, also wrote this movie. So like that was basically their basic brainchild, where like they're able to keep the Living Dead part, and then it was basically like, okay, what if this is a comedy instead?
So he got the Living Dead portion in the divorce, and then John Russo just got the dead portion, or the other way around.
Other way around. So. Because it is funny, because we covered Dawn of the Pod like 3 years ago, and that's a more serious movie, even though it still has some slapsticky moments.
I thought it was very slapsticky because it was like in a mall.
But more so, the zombies are like a little more like less.
You covered the original, or the remake?
The original. Okay. The remake's good. It's the remake is Zack Snyder's best movie because it's written by James Gunn, and Zack Snyder needs a good writer in order for his movies to work. He can't write his own movies. But that's a whole other story.
I've never seen the original Dawn of the Dead. I never felt like I had to, just because I enjoyed Dawn of the Dead, the remake, so much.
They're different because the remake is more of like an action horror, where the original is more like horror, somewhat comedy, like horror satire.
It's more like 70s horror. Like the slapstick is just inherent into the nature of the kind of film it's going to be, versus like action horror when the effects finally caught up to what they're trying to do. Like they painted all the guys to look like Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi with the helmet off. There's our patented Star Wars reference. It's out of the way. It's done. We don't have to do it anymore. From that point,
yeah, exactly. Going on a Star Wars tangent.
Yeah,
we Jar Jar Binks.
You're gonna make. I'm gonna mute you if you do this.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Mr. George Lucas doesn't own this fucking movie anymore. Come at me, Disney. Come at me, Mickey Mouse.
Hey, we're trying to take over the Muppet franchise here, okay?
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
This
sorry.
is a whole thing.
All right. Let's not be goofy about it. Right,
Let's
guys?
not be goofy about it. So yeah, so Tommy, like, what is it about this movie that for you that has stuck with
I
you for so long?
I
I think
think it's
this
the punk
movie.
rock girl stripping, if you ask me.
Well, I mean that certainly helps, but no, I think in general this movie's just like a fun. This movie's like a fun party overall. Where like the soundtrack is just really great. Like I love the one part where like they're boarding up all the windows in the crematorium and the Cramp song comes on, or it's just a fun little like surf punk song right there and stuff like that. The soundtrack is killer. I think that overall, just like everything is just so fucking funny about this movie. Even like when like the girl strips and all of her friends are like, oh, she's taking her clothes off again. It's just like they're just used to this fucking bullshit. It's like. It's another Friday night. I guess we have nothing better to do than watch this girl strip again. Like, oh God.
Yeah. Where was that in our friend group growing up, right? I mean,
Yeah,
for fuck's
but
sake. These guys are
overall,
just
this
taking this shit for granted. I mean,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Like,
But overall, this is just like a blast of fun for me. Like, I think I could rewatch this movie a lot and just like still have fun because I think the performances are just like over the top and like the zombies are just a good mix of like just really humorous and like it's still scary. Like, I think the one scene where the paramedics turn on the light, the headlights to their car and they see all the zombies right there is like really fucking scary. It's like, oh shit, all of a sudden.
yeah.
But it's a fun mix of like everything. It's a good horror comedy, I think.
So what is it about zombies then that is the appeal? Because I don't get I mentioned this before. I
So
don't get the appeal. Someone tell me the appeal of zombies.
I think that zombies in general is just like a mix of like society like breaking down and everything, the whole post-apocalyptic thing. For me, also when I was younger, I saw like Shaun of the Dead at like a formative age. I was like, okay, I'm obsessed with this. I need to see every zombie thing now. I think it's just like the whole shambling nature of it, and just how like oh like somebody you know immediately could be taken away from you, and like just like they could look like the person you know, but they're not whatsoever.
I,
This
I
Mm.
movie,
think I think really what it is that like like yes, it's an element in the horror genre, like but it's kind of like UFOs in the sense that there are rules behind it. Like when you have a zombie, it's like you have society breaking down. You have if it bites you, you turn into one, and like you have all these underlying rules in every single zombie movie, but every single one is still just a little bit different, and it's kind of fun to kind of compare and contrast. Oh, these zombies are like this, but these zombies are like different. Like, again, like bringing up my point in the beginning, these are the most self-aware zombies I've ever seen in a movie. And I think that it's definitely worth talking about because they
oh
are
yeah,
very aware that they need brains in order to survive. And like, I had never thought that they needed brains in order to survive. I thought that they just wanted brains.
yeah.
Now this is a need. So it begs the question, are these zombies actually indestructible, or if you deprive them of their brains to eat, do they eventually starve?
Well, I think it's more so just like they just hated the whole scene of like the zombie that they capture and take over, and like she explains the rules of like how like oh I think it's not more so need more than like they just hate the fact that they're dying and they can feel themselves rot, which is a great gift by the way. Of like I could feel myself rot. I
Yeah,
said that
that
when
is pretty
hungover
good.
sometimes. That's a great hangover gift.
That is a good one.
um,
But yeah, like I think that like it's just fun to think about, like
well, yeah.
Timmy, you've
Also,
never had a zombie plan? Like you've never thought about like what you might do if a zombie apocalypse were to happen? What your
No.
first move would be? No,
oh,
you've never had this thought?
I've had.
I exhaust all my energy. Like I'm rewatching Ken Burns Civil War right now. Like I am not.
You're like, I have a social life. I don't fucking look at that shit.
I don't. Yeah.
You weren't the
Right.
type like me in middle school where like I'll go on Quizzilla and like take like every single would you survive a zombie apocalypse quiz I could find. I think
Yeah,
also
I
for
bet
me,
you
like in terms of
bet you
horror,
fucking did.
yeah. You're like, yeah, shocker.
Yeah.
And for me too, like I feel like with zombies, I feel like it also like create you get some of the best special effects out of zombie movies. Especially like gore effects, especially when you get like Tom Savini involved and stuff like that. Like you get like fucked up ways to kill a zombie or like zombies like tearing people's guts like limb from limb and stuff like that. It just ends up being like a cool little mix where it's like, oh shit, do you see how they killed that guy in this one?
Yeah. I do feel like I was talking with some people this weekend and talk about movies, and they were saying like I was saying my co-host is a horror fanatic. I am not. they were like, I'm not a horror person either. What is the appeal of horror? And I just said, feel like they're always generally pretty low budget, and there's usually very creative filmmaking techniques that are used in there. And I think that creativity, along with the thriller, suspense, the scares that come with it, are all kind of connected into the element of horror. And for me, I think like I love like I think my favorite horror movie outside of like The Shining, The Exorcist, like if we're talking like lower budget kind of like horror movie, I would think of like Evil Dead 2, where it's just like your typical cabin in the wood kind of shot. Like that the filmmaking in that movie is so insane, so crazy, so it's just so inviting. Like you just kind of get absorbed into the goofiness of that movie versus like something like this for me was like it was fun, but like it felt very flat. It didn't feel very dynamic in its filmmaking process for me.
Yeah,
So
I mean, well, also you have the whole point of like Dan O'Bannon is not the filmmaker that Sam Raimi is. I mean, Dan O'Bannon, he's a great writer. He wrote Alien. He's the guy who wrote
yeah,
Alien. And like he based off his whole experience of like dealing with Crohn's disease and stuff like that. And that's how like he came up with the idea of like the chest burster and shit. So I mean I'm gonna look real quick, but I'm pretty
I
sure
know
this is
that.
like one of the only movies he directed. He only directed like another movie after this called The Resurrected, which I'd never seen and didn't really know of until just now. So, of course, he's not filmmaking is not his like main trade. His main trade is a writer. He also wrote like some heavy metal. He actually did some computer
Oh
animation on Star
wow.
Wars. He wrote like Dark Star, the John Carpenter movie, and stuff like that. He also wrote Total Recall. So he was a guy that had like all these great ideas, but I definitely feel like directing was not his foray.
and you see what I
So
mean because like you
yeah,
said like this is like Evil Dead 2, so I kind of got excited, and I guess like
maybe
the
I
face,
overhyped it by saying that.
I
Yeah.
guess
I
the
think it was
like
more like Evil Dead 1.
I feel like the skull in the basement was very reminiscent of like an Evil Dead skull. Like that
Yeah.
zombie, the guy who goes
The Tar Man, yeah,
brains. Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
tar man, like that skull was like crazy. But
With
I don't
the
know,
eyes and shit.
I just to me it really like the filmmaking didn't captivate me and didn't invite me in, and I think that's what I need in horror.
Mhm.
For
And that's
me,
fair because sometimes you watch like I've seen so many like random horror movies over the years where it's just like, okay, it's another generic slasher. There's nothing new adds to this. I mean, you've seen some like the Friday 13th sequels, and it's just like this is it's in the formula, but it's not adding anything new to the formula. And it's
Yeah.
just like whatever.
yeah, and I
But
get I'll
this that being said, I think this is above like just a simple zombie formula. Um, and I think that like a lot of it's the character interactions and the acting, and this is just like how fun and like cartoony it is.
I guess
Yeah.
because I don't watch enough of these movies that I probably have never really watched like a truly horrible zombie movie because I'm sure there's thousands of them out there.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So for me, I go like this is and I go like this seems like the standard zombie movie, and that was kind of my takeaway from it. I didn't know the brains thing was introduced here, but like outside of that, it all kind of felt very standard, and I guess that's just maybe maybe it's the issue of I feel like for horror fans, they love watching like getting what's the streaming service Shudder, right?
Shutter, yeah,
Shudder,
yeah.
getting Shudder, watching some terrible horror movie from like 1986 and just being like there were two really great scenes in this and like then comparing notes and waxing off each other poetically about like
Well,
terrible
it,
movies made in the 1980s that everybody else has forgotten. And
yeah,
I don't like I've loved a lot of the horror movies we've saw here because I've watched like all of the great classic horror movies on this
because
podcast.
I filter it through pretty well. Where like I'm
Yeah,
like okay,
you have done a good job filtering it. And like I didn't I'm coming off very anti this movie. I enjoyed this movie just fine. Like I bet if like we were watching this in the basement and having a few beers, having a few laughs, whatever, like I would like it just fine. But for me, like after work, sitting there watching it, I was just like, okay, this is a movie, like
yeah, yeah.
it
I feel
didn't.
it's definitely a good hangout vibe movie because like there's also just like the point of like upstairs Steve. If you and I watch this together, I feel like we'd be like, oh shit, fuck yeah, like the Damned are in this song or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, but it would be total mystery science theater, because we've both
Yeah,
seen it at this point, and like we would be kind of being jovial about how like kind of lame it is at the same time. But
Well, I love the guy's suicide. He's the one who dies by the tar man. Like he's like the guy that drives him around, and he's like, "Don't any of you fucks have a car?" And like he always talks about how like I love that Trash, who's like the girl who takes off her clothes. That she's like trying to fuck him and like hump him, and he's just like talking about how like this is a way of life, man. Like you think this is just a costume? And he's just like way too serious about being a punk rocker, and it's just like meanwhile she's like, "Come on, just fuck me." He's like, "No, like you don't have any respect for the fucking living, dude." It's fucking ridiculous.
I respected that character so much there, just being like, just get out of here.
Hey,
yeah,
man, you trying to fuck me in a graveyard? What are you have no respect for the dead? It's like, all right, dude, come on, you can take it down a
like,
notch.
yeah. I mean, you have no respect for absolutely anything else in society, but graveyards, that's where I draw the line. Absolutely not. Like it makes zero sense to me. But yeah, and also like, do
I would say
like,
I would say maybe subtextually he's fighting suppressed homosexuality, but I don't think this movie's smart enough to have any
Yeah,
subtext to it.
I don't think that movie's getting to that point.
No, I don't think so either.
He's definitely wearing enough leather for it, though. That's for sure.
And but the puppetry, though, in terms of like the zombies, is great. Like the guy Tarman, he worked with Jim Henson, and you can see it because like it definitely like there's so many. I love the one scene where like Clu Gallagher, who plays Bert, like the owner of the health clinic, whatever, he like opens up the door and Tarman's there, just like fucking shambling around, and it looks so fucking cool.
Well, I did love Clu Gallagher as Bert. Like he was just such like this kind of slimy business owner who's just like, what the hell? Why did you do this? Why?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, there's a number on the thing we should call. He's like, well, we can't call that. Then I'll lose the business. Did you think about that? Like he's just like that slimy guy.
He makes his two coworkers, his two employees, open up the door and try and kill the guy, and he's just like, I'm just gonna be way back here.
Yeah. He's just like hiding there.
Not for anything, I would have done the exact same thing. It's like you came to me with your trash bag full of fucking body parts that happen to still be moving. All right, you fucking deal with this. I'm nice enough to give you my fucking shelter. And
it's just so funny how sketchy he is about it.
No,
he's like,
it's so sketch.
He's like, Ernie, how long have I known you for? Like 25 years. And it's like, yeah, I got a pack of rabid weasels. Like, why don't we just throw them in the crematorium? And he's like, doesn't understand what's happening. He's like, that's inhumane. Like, why don't I just shoot these guys? Meanwhile, it's like again, puppetry right there. It's fantastic of these bags of just like
just like moving around,
just moving around. Everything that's hilarious.
So
pretty funny
for you guys. What are some of like the standout sequences in the film?
I thought that it was very funny when first of all, like obviously, like the punk rock strip scene is definitely a standout scene. But if you were actually listening to what he was saying,
I'm gonna be honest, it felt exploitative to me. It just felt like
absolutely it was.
It felt like a pair of I felt like let's just have a pair of tits in this movie, and
that's 100% what it was.
Well, Dan O'Bannon said that he thought this movie was not going to be like watched by anyone but dudes who just wanted to see it. That's why he threw in a bunch of nudity, and he was shocked that this movie had a ton of like female fans too.
But if you guys actually listened to some of the lines she said, and you weren't busy staring at her boobs like a bunch of perverts, you would know that she actually kind of foreshadowed her own death. When she was like, fetishizing like getting eaten. She's like, I want to die.
She's like, getting turned on. She's like touching herself, and she's like, "Oh,
I want to be
it'd be awful."
You ever think about getting eaten by a group of men? And the other guy's like, no, are you out of your mind?
No. And then it happens to her, and she's screaming bloody murder. I was half expecting her to have an orgasm in that sequence. I don't know about you guys.
It's just so funny because like her everyone's reaction to her is like, I guess she's taking her clothes off again. I guess this happened again. And when she's talking about that, everyone's just like, is Trash fucking talking about like fucking death again? Like, what the fuck, bitch?
I don't know, but they kept her around for a reason.
Yeah. I just think there's this great atmosphere to this movie too, just like fun, like punk rock atmosphere to it overall, where it's just like so much crazy shit happens. Where it's like, all right, I guess we're going to this. But also, I love the puppetry of the one they chained to the table, and just like the weird ADR they do for the that zombie's voice, where it's just like, I can feel myself rot, and like it takes away the pain of dying. It just seems so like otherworldly when you hear that in the movie, and just in a fun way.
Now about like when the zombie calls for backup, and then like six
That was
squad
funny.
cars show up. They all leave their cars in succession as if it were planned. Then all the zombies just swarm the cars and just eat them. Like, these are the most calculated zombies I've ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't fucking plan this, and I'm actually of the living, for fuck's sake. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. There's some zombie.
I did think it was funny though that like the close, like you can feel the budget in this at points with the zombies where like it's a close up, it's like a great shot of a thing, but then if it's like a wide shot and it's a group of them, like you can just tell that they're humans with some makeup on their face.
Yeah,
Like it'll be like somebody clawed out of the ground and then they just have like a full head of hair. It's like that's not how that works.
Straight up. But I also do love like the song that keeps on coming up over and over and over again. That was also in the trailer we played of like the "Do you wanna party?" And especially when the zombies like pop up, where it's like, okay, this isn't for a blast. I know I'm in for a cheesy '80s movie right here.
Yeah, no, this is some Monster Mash type shit right here.
But and it is a cheesy '80s horror movie, and it definitely works. Like I'm not liking it, but you guys are like.
Well, yeah, it's because
you guys are treating this like it's Citizen Kane, and I'm just going like,
it's Citizen Kane for what it is. Let's be real.
It knows what it is.
80s horror genre is its own thing, and for that reason, yes, it is the Citizen Kane of that subgenre. Having said that, objectively, I do see your point, Timmy.
No, exactly. I do see what you're saying, but like for me, it's like a movie that knows what it is. It's not like it's not like The Room where it's like trying to be a good movie and it's failing at all attempts. It's a movie that knows like it's a fucking movie about zombies and like fuck it, let's just make it fun.
Let's just make it fun.
No, that's very fair. That's very fair. I mean, and like I did have fun in parts of this. We haven't talked about Ernie, played by Don Calfa, the sick, twisted mortician.
Who definitely was a Nazi. They played it up a little bit. It's like subtext.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you can hear like when you're first introduced to the character, like you hear him like listening to like German like march or something like that, and then like all the other stuff like paranoid he is, and like his like pistols, like specifically like a Luger and stuff like that.
And he's got the blonde hair, blonde hair.
He got the blonde hair, and he has a picture of Eva Braun in his morgue.
Wait, there was a picture of that was Jesus, that's who that was?
Yeah, a picture of his Eva Braun.
Wow, I didn't catch that.
Dan O'Bannon, the director, said that like Ernie was intended to be a escape Nazi in hiding. Just,
oh my
like,
god!
Just
an escaped Nazi that's like 40 years old, 45 years later.
Yeah, that's like escaped Hitler Youth at that point. I mean, this is the 80s.
That's escaped Hitler infant.
Yeah. Well, you got to start them young, right?
Maybe not with Nazism. I would argue we shouldn't start that
probably
ever.
Not. Yeah.
Tommy and I have explicitly said this is an anti-Nazi podcast, and we will continue to reiterate that. Now, if you're going to challenge that, I don't know if we can have you back on.
You want to know something? Speaking of punk rock, we can reference the Dead Kennedys here, Tommy. Right? Nazi punks, fuck off. That's it.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. So
we do not like the Nazi Party on Haven't Seen It, the podcast. One of the things that we have to make it clear. I just want it clear. There's a lot of unclarity in this world right now, and I just want it to be clear. Okay.
Let the record show. Stephen Muccioli may be Italian, but he was not in favor of the Axis Party. No.
Yeah.
But his great grandfather was Benito Mussolini, so
and we had to conveniently change it to Muccioli.
Yes, exactly. In hiding. James, I wanted to talk about the death of James Cameron's character as Frank Johnson because they get infected by the spray there. Him and Freddie, and they're just like slowly dying, and they like go and hide them in the chapel or whatever. And then, which girl was it that was in there?
Tina, Frey's girlfriend. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to stay in there with you, which is like, I was like, she's a goner. And then, speaking of the subtext, they were hiding in the attic.
Oh yeah, that's it. There's that too. But yeah, so basically like they're in the chapel together and stuff like that, like Freddie, Tina, and what's his name? James Karen.
Frank.
And Frank, yeah. And all of a sudden, like that's when uh Freddie turns into a zombie full on. He's like, I need your brains. And James Karen, what I love in the scene is that you can see all the chaos happening. James Karen just gets up, just fucking books it out of there.
When they finally reopen the doors, he just like books it out, and you're like, oh, that's going to be trouble. And then
Yeah.
he just shoots himself into the incinerator.
Yeah. He takes his wedding ring off beforehand.
He takes his wedding,
Right.
says a
Oh,
prayer,
man.
and then kills himself in the
That was
incinerator.
probably the funniest suicide I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah,
if
it
you're
was
gonna-
it was insane. It was an insane suicide.
if you're going to
Noble.
eat yourself, why would you do that? No, not noble. I would say that's probably the most painful way to go. Why would you do that?
Because
Why?
that's how you.
It's that or being a zombie.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
Or you shoot yourself.
You can't shoot
Well,
yourself. They come back to life. They're
It is funny though.
reanimated.
It is funny
Yeah.
though the build up to like them being zombies throughout the movie. Where like you have the paramedics come in and they're like, "Well, you guys should be dead right now."
Yeah.
It's just like straight
That's
up,
right.
just like
But you guys are cognizant. I wonder how that
And,
can work.
I do love like how like the back and forth between them though, where they're freaking out, be like, "What do you mean we have no pulse?" Like, "Oh my god!" They're just screaming over and over.
Are you saying we're dead? Oh,
Yeah. It's fantastic.
but you can't be dead. Ha. What about the blatant love affair that's going on in this movie? I'm blanking on the characters' names, but there's that one kind of dorky punk guy.
Oh, the
That
Buddy
was,
Holly.
Yeah.
Yes, Buddy Holly's
The
guy.
new wave dude.
Yeah. And he was hitting on the semi
Stop
not
Making
so punk
Sense
girl.
was made for that guy.
Yes.
Oh, it
exactly.
was Chuck and Casey. I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
Casey the one with the blue hair or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Punk, but not really. She didn't really dress as punk. It's just the blue hair that kind of gave it away.
Probably new
And-
wavy. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the point was for the love connection there? You think that they just needed to have a love connection in this movie?
But there,
Oh,
there
like-
wasn't
there-
really. There wasn't
was-
really. It was just
She
like
says to him, like, "Oh, I just want to tell you, I've always hated you."
she literally
Yeah.
says, "But hold me right now because I'm scared."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like it was just a very long build up to that joke. You know what I mean?
It was a
Like,
rug. It was a rug pull because, like, you would expect in this movie those two to end up like hooking up, like passionately kissing or something, and she's just like, "I don't like you, but I need you to hold me right now. Like, I can't be
Yeah.
doing this alone."
There you go.
I feel like that's the charm of this movie. There's just like a lot of those like little character moments built up into there as it degresses, the situation regresses and just continually gets worse and worse.
I couldn't agree more.
Any other standouts to you guys?
Are we gonna talk about Brian Peck?
Oh, yeah, now's the time to talk about Brian Peck, who
The Brian Peck of all, the guy who molested Drake Bell. For-
well, suspense, Tommy. We got to
I
build it
buried
up.
the lead. I buried the lead.
You buried the lead. What the hell?
What's
man?
this guy's deal?
We can do another take on it if you want. We can make.
I'm
another
not.
take.
I don't
make it
know
more
what.
suspenseful.
I don't know
No.
what minute and point we're at.
Let the record show that Tommy ruins everything. Everybody that's listening.
Just let the record show that Tommy ruined it.
Yeah. So
So if you don't, so just pretend you didn't hear that, Brian. If you don't know who Brian Peck is, Brian Peck is a D-list level actor. Is that a fair way to say
I would
it?
say so. If you didn't watch
Z-list
the
practically.
if you didn't watch the reboot of all that, you would not know who he is. If
Yeah,
you
he's
did,
just-
you would know him as Pickle Boy. He was Pickle Boy in all that.
Yeah, he was
in-
just like a background guy in a bunch of stuff. And you'd go like, why does this guy have a Wikipedia page? So then curiosity kills the cat, and then you click it, and then it turns out that he is a pedophile convicted on 2 counts: a lewd act upon a child 14 or 15 by a person 10 years or older, and then oral copulation of a person under 16. He only got 16 months in prison, which sounds like a very light sentence to me. He should be buried under the prison, in my opinion. I just want us to be known. I just want it to
Let
be
the
known.
record
Haven't
show.
seen it. Anti-Nazi, anti-pedophile. I just want it
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
record. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
we're
on the
saying
record.
it. In case
We're
you're
saying it.
wondering.
We're
in
saying
case
it,
you had
just
any-
so you know,
And
we
his
don't fuck kids here. We
his-
don't.
Was the always saying thing? We don't diddle kids. We don't diddle kids.
His
All right, guys, I think we should change the intro song about how we definitely don't diddle kids.
well, we don't need to. No, I mean we don't talk about pedophilia on the, but we have a pedophile on the podcast, like we're talking about him. It turns out that
And to be
he
clear, that's none of us.
That's none of
sexually
us.
and psychologically abused Drake Bell, who worked with him on the Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, and all that. So he is a terrible person. There's also 40 individuals who voiced their support for him, including James Marsden, Kimmy Robertson, Alan Thicke. Those are the three that I actually know here. So not a ton of people are really giving their support here. But why would you give your support to this guy? There's
Well,
no
I think
need.
that they didn't know the whole story, and they're like, "Oh, like I know that guy. He was fine on
Yeah,
set,
well, they did
whatever."
the same. The cast of that '70s show, except for Topher Grace, all did the same thing for Danny Marsden. But
But the
I
big
think they
question,
were. I think they were also all pressured by the Church of Scientology to do it. So that's also another. That's another thing. Our patent in Scientology reference as well.
So, in conclusion,
Well,
fuck that guy.
Fuck
in
that
conclusion,
guy
fuck that guy. But if you want to see him get eaten, he's the punk, the blonde punk, right?
with the mohawk.
Yeah, with
With
the mohawk.
right? So
He
this
does
movie
die in
we're
this
talking
movie.
about. He does die. So if you do want to watch a future pedophile get eaten, this is the movie for you.
I wish he would have gotten eaten in real life. I really
Me
wish.
too. You
Yeah.
know, chemical castration. You know, it can
I'm-
still be a thing. Or we can get zombies to eat pedophiles' genitalia, and that's a very good form of punishment.
Could be that too.
Could be that
You
too.
know, I think the punishment should fit the crime. You like to eat boys' butts, then you get your genitals eaten by flesh-eating zombies. Take that, society.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I'm a big, bright, shining star.
All right, moving on.
On
who
that
is
note.
on that note, who is the star of the show? Who gave the best performance in your estimation? Tommy, you've seen this 700 million times. Tell me, who do you think was the best performance?
James Cameron all day. Frank, I think that he's like really sells the humor in this movie. I think that like the way he captivates you in with that story he's telling Freddie in the beginning of like how they just couldn't find the right the paperwork got lost and then we have it in the mail and the whole entire thing that upstairs Steve was talking about in the beginning where he's like, yeah, this is the U.S. military, it's great, and slaps it and all of a sudden the gas comes out, causes the whole thing. And just when his like whole entire descent into like learning he's like dead and everything, that's just hilarious. I think that like he's just a really great part. So James Cameron for me.
I don't know. I think I like Clue as my star just because I feel like he's the one that's kind of tying everything together. He is the glue.
He's the man with the plan.
He's the man with the plan. He comes through for all these people who he didn't know were in disarray. He doesn't even know half of them, but he opens his doors and he's like, all right, there's some fucked up shit going on here, and I'm going to try my best to make this right. And
yeah,
he plays a good, stable character, you know?
Yeah, I liked him. I just thought he was funny too. I just liked the performance. It was just, there's an everyman attribute, despite him being very slimy, that I enjoyed about him. And
he's your regular anti-hero.
He's your regular anti-hero, but I suppose I think I would have agreed with you, Tommy. It could have been James Karen, but I just feel like he's great in that first third of the movie, but then he gets kind of taken out of the movie, you know?
Yeah,
as a zombie.
bit.
Yeah, no, like his exit's quick because first 20 minutes he gets exposed to the gas, and then after he's exposed, that it's only a matter of time before he becomes a zombie. Having said that, this whole entire movie is his fault, so I can't see your point of view as well.
Yeah. Also, I do want to shout out Miguel Nunes. He played Spider, the black guy in the punk group. I think that he was hilarious throughout the movie. Like he's talking about one point, like, "Yeah, we're just gonna be beating each other's dicks off out here, waiting out here and shit like that." He's probably the guy of the younger actors who's had the best career. He was in Joanna Man. He was Joanna Man. Remember that movie? It was the Comedy Central movie about the guy who was a basketball star that
Man,
got banned from the.
so nobody really had a good career, huh?
Yeah, well, Linnea Quigley was definitely known as like a horror scream queen back in the 80s. She definitely had a heyday back then. Also, Clu Gallagher and James Corden showed up and everything. Clu Gallagher was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was his last movie before he passed away.
Oh,
He was the bookshop keeper that
oh yeah.
yeah, that Margot Robbie goes see like in that movie.
Where she gets the
So,
gift. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed Clu Gallagher's performance. But yeah.
Are you
Right.
comedy partner? Waka waka.
Would
Yes.
The Return of the Living
Yes.
Dead work as a Muppet adaptation?
Always yes. Always yes. I don't even know
I
why it's
think-
ever a question anymore.
I think definitely with this one you could definitely say it because like this movie already has a great puppetry to it, and the guy who played Tarman worked with Jim Henson and stuff like that, and so you have that alone and like immediately like you're like okay, like you could see the different connections and stuff like that. You can see how this could work. You make it maybe just a little more PG, but even again, zombies just eating brains. I mean, you have like cartoon shows.
I want to eat
felt.
felt.
Cotton.
Yeah, I want to eat cotton.
I
The guy
would
who
say
played
that
Tarman
if it,
was in Muppet movies.
true. I mean, I would say if this were a Muppet movie, you would have to have Clu Gallagher be the human, and then everybody else be Muppets. Like you
Well,
would end up.
I always
saving the
wonder.
Muppets,
I always wonder a Muppet horror movie, or if you made a Muppet zombie movie, it would just be like when you turn to a zombie, you become a Muppet.
That's actually a very good question.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's where you go.
That's
Like,
pretty good.
I can feel my felt rotting, or something. Like that.
Bending the rules a little bit.
Yeah,
just slightly. But again, that's the beauty of zombie movies, right?
I like it. I like it. All right, review time. Give me your score out of 5. Steve, we'll start with you.
3 out of 5 for me. This movie is fun, not to be taken too seriously. It's definitely lightning in a bottle if you're looking for your cross of gore, horror, and humor all in one. So I give it a 3 out of 5 if that's what you're looking for. But once again, the 3 out of 5 really comes from this movie. You can't take it too seriously, and you'll see why when you watch it.
Tommy?
all right, I'm going with my total Homer pick. I love this movie. I watch this all the time. So I think that like this is like a 5 stars of fun and everything like that. Like where like I have a blaster time put this on. It's just the performances, the whole like, zombie design, and the whole brains and everything. For me, this is a 4.5 out of 5. I could watch this all day. I have the poster of it literally right behind me. You can kind of see it in the background. I even have the coaster right here of the movie right there. So
Wow.
That's when you know we're diving into real nerd territory here, folks.
yeah, literally, we're covering a movie I love. So
This is a proud man right here. Just so you know, there is no shame behind anything Tommy's saying right now.
yeah. I mean, as you can see, the horror backdrop is a bit behind me. I mean, we're not on video, but if we were, you'd see it.
I think that's Tommy requesting that you put this on video for the viewers on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you see
He
upstairs
wants to
Steve's
show off
feet.
he wants to show off his setup. No, you got to pay for those, baby. All right.
All right. 2.5 out of 5 for me. It was
Wow,
fun.
2.5. I've
Yeah.
never heard you give such
It
a
was-
low review before.
I have given lower, believe me. 2.5 out of 5. Like it was fine. I had a perfectly fine time. It was just, to me, it was your run of the mill horror movie. I guess I'm just not coded enough in bad horror to appreciate when it's going good, you know?
Mhm.
Like I'm appreciated in such great horror that when you throw like an average one at me, it feels average, and it felt like that. Like it was fun. Like I had a good time. Heart of heart, I just can't give it a higher grade than that. I just felt like when I think of horror, I just think of dynamic filmmaking, and I didn't think this movie had that at all. So I feel like maybe in the hands of a better director, this movie could have been elevated even further, but sadly, it does not have that. 2.5 out of 5. Upstairs, Steve, thank you so much for joining us as always. Let the people know where they can find you.
Oh man, listening to the podcast ever. But we're gonna do this anyway.
Maybe this time.
Maybe
Yeah.
this time. You know what? if you guys reach out to me on any of my socials that I list here, I'm giving you a free gift. You can find me at big_mooch. That's MOOCH 821 on Instagram. And if you want that uncut, raw, uncensored feet picture, Steve, you can find me on Snapchat at SMUCC6. And no, that is not the free gift. The free gift is probably just going to be me saying hi to you in my DMs because, I'm somewhat of a celebrity now. If you haven't noticed already, if you're an avid listener to this podcast. So my presence should be an honor to you people. All right.
Yeah. This is probably your 7th time because we have you like once a month at this point.
I'm
so
well into double digits, buddy. We
you,
can count right now if you want.
Yeah, because we did From Dusk Till Dawn. We did.
We're not
Moneyball.
gonna try to brain blast this one, guys. Okay,
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
No, we're not
It's
doing
the whole
that.
thing. It's not captivating podcasting, but yeah.
No.
Again, Upstairs Steve, we love having you on. It's always great having you on. Thanks for coming on again.
Love being on. Thank you guys once again. And
Tommy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Well, I think I'm in the right because this movie was a 3.8 average on Letterboxd out of 5. So just throwing that out there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us on social media.
Letterboxd average.
Yeah, exactly. I can say that again, but nerdier. It's Steve, if you want me to.
On Letterboxd, actually, people say that I'm right, and that this is a 3.8, and you
do
guys
not
are
get
wrong.
me started with your fucking letterbox. It's just so like
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It totally is. It totally is. I embrace the cringe at this point. But again,
you just lean hard into the cringe. That's just Tommy's MO.
Yeah, you got it. So, but anyways, like I was saying, you can follow us on social media. That's at Seen It Pod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're occasionally on Threads also. And Bluesky, that's podscene.bluesky.social. And also leave us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Helps us out, helps us grow the show. And
yeah, come on, guys. Seriously, help these guys grow the fucking show already. What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
all right?
Exactly. Come on.
Come on.
What are you doing?
Come on, guys.
So we're gonna be
if you help grow the show, you get more Upstairs Steve, right? Because
that's true.
These guys are gonna have to dip hard into the budget pretty soon to have me on as a guest.
Yeah. We have to pay Upstairs Steve $1 every time he comes on, so it's getting more expensive. His rate's going up.
It was either get advertising or Upstairs Steve, and they chose Upstairs Steve, and for that, I thank you guys.
Yeah. So, well, we're gonna take next week off, I think, and we're gonna be coming back with a movie I think Timmy will like a little bit more in the horror realm. It's by probably a better filmmaker than Dead O'Bannon, John Landis. It's called American Werewolf in London. Timmy's never seen it before.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next time.